Canada's Finance Minister, Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland at a grocery store in Toronto. She's talking about this grocery rebate that comes into effect today for lower income Canadians. About 11 million Canadians will get the rebate. Let's listen in to Chrystia Freeland.
Wonderful city we both have the privilege of representing. J'aimerais d'abord souligner que nous sommes réunis sur le territoire traditionnel.
We are gathered on the traditional lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit, Anishinaabe, Chippewa, and Wendat.
And I am so glad to be here today at Rabba Fine Foods here in our wonderful city of Toronto. Anyone who lives in Toronto knows that Rabba is a 24/7 cornerstone of our city and of communities across the GTA. And it is local grocery stores like this one, from coast to coast to coast, that are so important to so many millions of families. So I really would like to thank Jack Rabba, Rick Rabba, and Rima Rabba for their very warm hospitality. We had a wonderful, very moving conversation just a minute ago, and they talked about their family's story and their family's contribution to our country and our community. So thank you, Rabba family. You are a real inspiration and a real example of the huge contribution that immigrants and immigrant families make to our amazing country. I'm really grateful to the team here on Front Street for your very hard work every single day. J'aimerais vous donner quelques points importants sur la situation économique actuelle du Canada et ce que cela signifie pour les Canadiens.
En 2022, in 2022, Canada had the strongest economic growth of the G7 countries. Some 900,000 Canadians more are working today than at the beginning of the pandemic, and we have gotten back 28% of the jobs that were lost during the first few months of the pandemic, 128 compared to 110% in the US. We now have an abundance of well-paid jobs that are beneficial to Canadians and families from coast to coast.
To 3.4% in May, down from 4.4% in April, and down from a high of 8.1% last June. Inflation in Canada today is lower than the United States, where it is at 4%, lower than France, where inflation is at 5.1%, lower than Germany, where inflation is at 6.1%, lower than Italy, at 7.6%, and lower than the United Kingdom at 8.7%. Our plan is fiscally responsible, and it is working. While we're not there yet, at 3.4%, Canada is close to the Bank of Canada's inflation target range. Inflation is the lowest it has been in nearly 2 years, and I know that is truly welcome news for Canadians from coast to coast to coast. But I also know that this continues to be a challenging time for many of our friends and neighbors. And that's why I came here today with my friend Julie to announce that the new grocery rebate will be arriving in the bank accounts and mailboxes of 11 million Canadians and Canadian families starting today. For an eligible couple with 2 children, the grocery rebate will provide up to an extra $467. For an average eligible senior, it will mean an extra $225. And for an eligible single Canadian without children, the grocery rebate will provide up to an extra $234. Now, I know that will not make up for all of the impact of inflation that Canadians have felt. But for those who need help the most, for our most vulnerable neighbors here in Toronto, and for millions of Canadians across the country, the grocery rebate will provide some important breathing space at a time when people really need it. I also want to speak briefly today about new support for Canadians with mortgages. In our spring budget, we announced that the Financial Consumer Agency of Canada would be publishing a code of conduct to protect Canadians with mortgages at a time of elevated interest rates. Today, the FCAC published a guideline which details the support that banks and other financial institutions should be providing to Canadians who are struggling with rising mortgage payments. Specific mortgage relief measures could include waiving prepayment penalties, not charging interest on interest, waiving internal fees and costs such as mortgage renewal fees and internal costs associated with late payments. The guideline published today is intended to protect Canadians by ensuring their financial institutions treat them fairly and provide them with the tailored mortgage relief they need, all with the goal of helping Canadians who are really struggling to manage their mortgages receive the support they need. Before I close, I just want to offer a final thought for Canadians. I know that for millions of Canadians, the past few years have been really challenging. We've been through a global pandemic, the deepest recession since the Great Depression, and then a surge of inflation caused by the pandemic and Vladimir Putin's illegal invasion of Ukraine. But we are getting through this difficult time. Inflation is coming down, and we're building an economy that will continue to grow and create great careers for people in communities right across our country. We have the remarkable good fortune to live in the greatest country in the world, and I'm incredibly optimistic about what the years to come will mean for Canadians. So thank you very much, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
All right, we'll now proceed to the Q&A portion of today. It'll be one question, one follow-up. All media are invited to go to the microphone just here. Alors, avant de commencer la conférence de presse aujourd'hui, ça sera une question et une question en suivi. Tous les médias ici au microphone.
Good afternoon, Minister. My name is Tessa. I'm coming from CBC News. Would you be able to answer the question both in English and French?
Je vais essayer.
Thank you very much.
I'll
First
try.
question is that you kind of answered it in your speech already, but is a one-time payment ranging from $230 to $600 really going to make a difference to people who are struggling to pay groceries every day, each and single week, and despite the fact that food inflation is still higher than the regular inflation?
Yeah, you're right. I did address that point in my remarks, and it's important for me to be candid with Canadians. It's absolutely the case that the grocery rebate will make a real difference to Canadians who really need help right now. But I would never claim that the grocery rebate alone will alleviate the entire impact of inflation, especially on the most vulnerable people. And, you know, the challenge in terms of economic policy getting through this period of high inflation has been that we've needed to strike a balance. On the one hand, it is so important to be compassionate. It is so important to understand that these are really hard times for a lot of people, and it is so important to provide the people who are facing the greatest challenges with targeted support. But on the other hand, we have also understood from the very beginning that the way to get through this period of elevated inflation was to take a fiscally responsible approach. And it was really important for us not to make things worse, not to pour fuel on the flames of inflation by not being fiscally responsible. So that's the balance that we have struck from the outset, and that's what we're continuing to do. Et en français,
In French?
vous avez raison.
You're right.
J'étais claire dans mes remarques. Et on
I was
dit
clear in my comments, and we've always been
que
clear.
oui, le rabais pour l'épicerie
We do understand that the grocery rebate
qui va
is
aider
targeted
absolument
assistance that will absolutely help the most vulnerable in our communities. But at the same time, I need to be frank, and I must say that yes, it is not going to improve all the costs of inflation. The reality is that we need to find a balanced approach. On one hand, being compassionate for the most vulnerable in our communities and in our country. And on the other hand, understanding that especially today, how important it is to take a fiscally responsible approach. This is the balance that we have sought in every decision that we made since the beginning of the pandemic.
Why not do what the NDP are arguing for, which is an excess profit tax on grocery chains as a deterrent on gouging customers? What do you think of that idea?
So our government absolutely believes that everyone in Canada needs to pay their fair share. And we are aware, for example, that the extraordinary support that the government provided during COVID yielded a real benefit for financial institutions across the country. And that's why we put in place the COVID recovery dividend to ensure that Canadians benefited from that extra benefit that financial institutions gained. And we're using that money to ensure that we can take a fiscally responsible approach, even given the very great costs we incurred in supporting Canadians during the pandemic. So we absolutely agree it's important for everyone to pay their fair share. And we are very alive to, looking across the economy at whether there are any distortions caused by COVID, caused for inflation, and responding in an appropriate way. At the same time, we also recognize that Canada is a market economy. We're an economy that believes that businesses can and do a lot of good. Businesses like the business run by the Rabba family who are here right now. And it's important for those businesses to also know that the government is going to maintain a transparent, dependable, and predictable set of economic rules so that they can continue to make investments.
Thank you.
OK. Je m'excuse. Concernant les impôts,
la politique de notre gouvernement, our government's policy is that everyone needs to pay their fair share. We demonstrated this, for example, with the COVID-related tax that we implemented on financial institutions. When it comes to other possible measures, we always look at what's going on in the economy. At the same time, we also understand the importance of the private sector. We especially understand the importance of small and medium businesses and how important it is for them that the government take an approach that is transparent, that doesn't change every week or every month. Thank you.
Rao from CTV National News. I heard what you say about striking a balance and being fiscally responsible. I mean, at the end of the day, for a family of four, I think grocery prices were up $1,300 on average over the course of a year. You've got a check going up for just over $400 for a family. Is there anything else your government's planning to help make up that difference between how much more people are spending and the rebate checks?
Thank you for the question. And I have to say that is something that I agonize over every day, and that I, and Julie and the Prime Minister and our whole government really, really wrestles with. Because we know that this has been a really, really tough time for a lot of people, starting with the challenges COVID itself posed and continuing to the challenges posed by high inflation. And you would have to have a heart of stone and be blind not to really see that. This measure, the grocery rebate, it is real meaningful support. And for the people who need it the most, it's going to make a difference. $467 for a family, yeah, that's meaningful money for vulnerable Canadians. And I'm glad that we're able to provide it, and I'm glad that we're able to be here and announce it right now. Is it going to cover everything? No. And we have to be honest about that. But I also have to be honest with Canadians that in order to get through this challenging time, it's really important for the government to take a balanced approach and to provide the compassionate, targeted support to people who need it the most, but also to recognize that we need to be fiscally responsible. And we need to be fiscally responsible because that is the surest, fastest path to get through inflation. In my remarks, I also cited, inflation levels across our peer countries. And at 3.4%, Canada is doing better at getting inflation down than all of our peers, except Japan, where inflation is 3.2%. And for Japan, the challenge has been for decades now deflation. So we are winning this fight. And I really believe that the best way for us to support people who need this support, the best way to support the people who are going to come in and shop here later today, who are shopping here now, is to provide targeted support to the most vulnerable, which is what we did in the fall, what we're doing now. But at the same time, to be mindful that it is simply fiscally impossible and would be economically harmful for our government to try to compensate everyone across the country for all of the challenges that they're facing because of inflation. To take that kind of approach, to set ourselves that kind of a goal, would truly mean that the fight against inflation would be endless. And I don't think we would be helping Canadians at all by setting up that kind of a dynamic.
Some of the experts we've talked to today say what's really needed is a poverty reduction strategy. What are you doing on that front, and specifically when it comes to affordable housing and rent policy? Give specifics.
That I agree with 100%. And I actually think that one of the most important set of accomplishments of our government since 2015, when we formed government, is to very meaningfully strengthen Canada's social safety net, to bring in the Canada Child Benefit, to bring in the GIS for our seniors, to increase the pension, to bring in early learning and childcare, bring down fees by 50% already across the country, and we're getting to $10 a day by 2025. That web of measures has had a meaningful, measurable impact on poverty in Canada. For seniors used to be the poorest group of people in Canada. I think that was a national shame. Thanks to the increased support that we provide to seniors today, that is no longer the case. Hundreds of thousands of seniors have been lifted out of poverty. For children in particular, children in vulnerable circumstances, hundreds of thousands have been lifted out of poverty through the Canada Child Benefit, which is literally transforming lives every day. So I think our government has put in place some very significant measures. Another piece of that is very important to me, and I think that all Canadians woke up to during the pandemic, was providing more support for our most essential workers. We learned during the pandemic that the most essential people in Canada are probably not people who work in office buildings. They are people who do frontline jobs in places like grocery stores. And the Canada Workers Benefit, which we have significantly increased and which we will now be paying out during the year rather than after the fact, is another major poverty reduction measure. So I agree with the premise, and it is that web of support that I think is one of the things that has kept Canada going through the pandemic, through the recession caused by the pandemic, and has fueled the strongest recovery in the G7. You mentioned housing. And from my perspective, our biggest challenges are inflation coming down, we're getting there, and the next really big economic challenge is housing. I think that is a problem absolutely for the most vulnerable, for people living in poverty. It's also a problem for many, many other Canadians. I worry particularly about young Canadians, and that's something that our government is really, really focused on as well.
Okay, thank you so much. Next question? No? Okay, well,
C'est ça?
that concludes today's press conference. Thank you so much. Merci tout le monde, ça conclut la conférence de presse. Merci.
All right, so we're listening to Canada's Deputy Prime Minister, Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland. She is at this grocery store in the east end of Toronto, along with the local Liberal MP, Julie de Bruzen, holding a news conference on a grocery rebate